You are tuned into K-100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
All right. Yeah.
K-100, you bastard.
What's happening? K-100 Radio, I am your host, Blizzard. Welcome everybody to another one of our direct line interviews on K-100 Radio. We really appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Anybody that's listening to us live right now, listen to the sound of my voice. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it, man. We got a really dope interview coming up. We are just not getting introduced to this artist, and I'm ready to talk to him and chop it up with him. We bringing him on the screen. What's happening? We are live. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show, man. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
Good to be here. Doing
Absolutely.
good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So listen, go ahead and introduce yourself to our listening audience, man.
Yeah, so I'm IDEGO. I am a self-produced artist doing faith-based hip hop and rap out of Nashville, Tennessee. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
And I guess we can start out like what got you into music, man? Like how long have you been doing music? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I was put in lessons and stuff as a kid by my parents. Was drumming for a while and then did band in middle school. And then when I got to high school, freshman year, I saw a senior that was making beats on his laptop and I was like, ooh, that's cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was telling my parents, so they bought me Logic Pro for Christmas that year.
All right, good parents.
And so I just started making beats, and eventually I was like, all right, I want to pursue this. And then I started producing for artists for a while. Mm-hmm. And then this year I started producing for myself and became an artist in my own. So yeah.
Just like that, IDEGO is in the building. So listen, first of all, I got to shout out to the parents. Shout out to the supportive, cool parents that buy their stuff, buy their kids stuff like that, and support the dream. So they still rocking with you. They still supporting the career path.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are very supportive. They always are trying to help me out and are there for me to vent. So yeah.
All right, that's what's up, man. Well, that's a blessing in and of itself, bro. Because I'm pretty sure you have a lot of friends who want to do it who don't get that family support. Like,
yeah,
the whole get a real job talk. You know what I mean? That one. Yeah. It could be like blessed. That. All right. So now you said that you're a college student, correct?
Yes, sir. I go to college at Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, Sanford and Birmingham. So how is that, man? Like how is it, handling class, like, life be lifing as a student, and you're trying to do music on top of that. Like it's hard enough to do it when you're an adult with a job. You know what I mean? Gosh, so like, having class and having tests and midterms, you know what I mean? And then trying to go to the studio. Like how's it working out for you?
So I'm studying music, so that helps a little bit.
Okay, cool.
So some of it's worked in, but then a lot of it's very busy. I'm engaged now, so managing that on top of everything, I have to keep a very strict schedule for myself, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
All right, IDEGO. So like you're young, but you're clearly, committed, right? Dedicated to what you're doing and being able to dedicate to a woman during your college years. That's we don't hear that often on K-100 Radio. Let me give you a round of applause for that one. You know what I'm saying? Because normally somebody your age it's all about the turn up, and this, I guess, it's like a good way to segue into like the fact that you're a faith-based artist. I like that term because when we first started doing K-100 Radio, many years ago, I think the only term that was around for faith-based artists was gospel rappers, right? That's what they were called, like gospel rappers. And then that soured with that community. Like some people didn't want to be called that anymore, and they came up with different things, right? So I guess the first question is the term faith-based. Why did you decide to go with that term? Is that like the main term that everybody's using in that genre now, or is it something that you kind of feel more comfortable with, and why?
It's one of the ones I use. The other one that's like very common is CHH or Christian hip hop. Mm-hmm. So that or faith-based hip hop, both are just kind of like, I feel like it just like broadly identifies what I do.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So when you're in your music, and of course, if you're making this music, I'm just going to assume that's your faith, right? Like that. Yes, sir. That's the life that you're living. Of course, it wouldn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So how do you being your age and being a young person and everything that's going on in the world, man? How do you kind of keep yourself locked in? How do you keep your faith locked in? Because that's going to pour into your music, and that's where everything is going to come out, creatively. But how do you keep your actual life locked in like that? At such a young age, like how do you avoid the distractions and the pitfalls?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. You know, what helps is surrounding myself with people who are going to hold me accountable and are also have the same goal. And so we kind of hold each other accountable. And, you know, people say you become the average of the people you're around. So I just try and be very intentional with the people I surround myself with, and that I can keep them on the straight and narrow, and they can keep me. Yeah. Huge.
I mean, you know, birds of a feather, you know what I'm saying? All these terms that we've got, you know, over the years from our parents and grandparents and great grandparents about, you know, the company you keep, right? You know what I'm saying? Helps a lot. You know, there's a lot of people who don't like the interjection of religion and, let's say, society, politics.
For sure.
You know, they want it separate, you know, and it's literally written into our Constitution, even though no one's going by that. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know, everybody's acting like that's not a word and it's not a thing. It is. All right. How do you, you know, do you ever feel like, you know, your personal life and your faith may be a reason, maybe more of a turnoff to someone that you may be trying to reach? Because, you know, I think the ultimate goal of people in faith-based music is to save souls, reach out to others, you know, bring them into the fold. But it's kind of hard when you can't necessarily meet them on their playing field. So how do you balance that, like with your music, but also make it to make it consumable to a secular person, and then try to slide the message into them?
You know, so obviously I started as a producer, so it's really important for me to make sure the music is good first. Right. Like, take away the lyrics. I've always been a sound first person, so I'm always listening to the way the beat sounds, the way the vocals sounds before I'm listening to the lyrics. But that's just me. Right. So I make sure that the music's really good, you know. And there's two reasons to do Christian hip hop. It's like the one you said is to reach people and disciple people, and then also to encourage and lift up other Christians. You know, I try not to get too worried about it because with my faith and stuff, I believe that, like, I just do my best to make great music that happens to be clean and about the Lord. And, you know, if the Lord has that reaching someone that's supposed to reach, it will. And if it doesn't, like, I don't think there's really anything I could do. You know, I just can do my best to create great art, glorify the Lord. And if that reaches someone, that's great. And, you know, inevitably, yeah, you're right. Some people will never give it a chance. But all I can do is keep trying and make the music dope and, yeah, keep pushing.
All right. I like that answer. You know, when I started the platform, you know, and just a little context about me, because this is our first interaction, so we don't really know each other, right? Which is cool because we do this all the time. But just a little background on me is I'm also an artist, producer, engineer myself, right? And, you know, myself, right? So but funny enough, I'm also a PK, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when people find out about me and they know me, they be like, what? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's not the music that I make, right? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when I talk about it and I first created the platform, a major thing with a lot of the you know, faith-based artists it's like they didn't have the music didn't match. Like, the music wasn't consumable. Like, the music wasn't good enough. The beats weren't good. The hook writing, none of that was, even in the mixing and the mastering used to be so awful. Like, and it was like, well, and they would want me to play it anyway because, like, hey, it's positive. It's like you should play it anyway. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. The music needs to be good.
Yeah. I mean, that was something for a while. Like, obviously, there are Christian hip hop artists throughout the years that have been legendary and have done really good things. But the thing that kind of turned me off to it for a while, because I kind of I didn't know where their good art was, and I was just kind of very turned off to it. Right. You know, being a Christian was part of who I was, but I was like, the music thing, that's for church. Right. And I started getting put on to artists and stuff, and, like, I was like, okay, wait, there actually is talent here. Yeah. And, like, that I didn't see before. And that allowed me to, okay, I can make cool music. What if I just did that, but then give it all to the person who gave me the talents, which is the Lord and the Creator? Yeah. And I'll tell you, I know, without a doubt, I think one of the major advantages of your genre specifically
is you don't have to deal with a lot of the insane drama that comes with being a secular artist, as far as all the way down to the venues that you'll be performing at. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need for metal detectors. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you're going to be at, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's like a very a plus. Let me ask you: do you still outside of your music, are you involved musically within your church?
Within my church, no. Because I kind of bounce back and forth between my church in Nashville and church in here.
Okay.
So right now, not very involved musically, but once I graduate, I'm a junior, I've got one more year.
Right.
I'll be able to actually sit and plant in a church and like really grow and get involved as much as possible. Because I believe that's important.
Yeah.
For all Christian artists, need to get involved in their church, Yeah.
I mean, because that's the point, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and sharing the gift. It's a very interesting conversation. K-100 Radio.
You are tuned to K-100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
IDEGO is on the line right now. This is K-100 Radio. Again, I'm your host, Blizzard, and that's who we're chopping it up with. Really cool, really great conversation that we're having right now, right? And so we're going to get ready to play some music. We got like 2 songs by you that we're going to play. We've got one called Pray Some and one called Calling Out. And we're going to play both of these records in a minute. So I want to get into the music and let people hear it. And then we talk about and dissect these particular records. So I'll let you pick out which one of these should I play first, IDEGO.
We'll start out with Pray Some.
Okay,
that one was the first I released, and
all right. So I want you to give me a little bit of a rundown about this. Like, what in context, like what the song is about. Did you self-produce this one?
Self-produced.
All right. Talk to me about it.
Self-produced.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So this was the first song I actually ever did myself as my own artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sitting in the studio with this beat, sending it out, got bored, and was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And I wrote it all and recorded it in one session, mixed and mastered in another. But basically, the sound I go for, I blend a little bit of the hip hop underground with like EDM thing. I like sounds that are very in your face, which you'll very much hear that.
Right.
But really, the song is about just praying, and that like a reminder that I even sometimes forget that like no matter how I'm feeling, even if I'm feeling just the most sinful or the most horrible, there's a creator that is ready just to reach out and talk, and you just have to pray some.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give me the drop. I want you to introduce your song for the first time on K-100 Radio, and I'm going to hit play on this thing. Let's go.
All right. This is IDEGO, and you're listening to Pray Some on K-100 Radio.
Let's get to it, family.
You are tuned to K-100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
Step into me, I'ma point you straight to him. I'm a chosen one, I'll show you how I live. Been through testing, God, he blessed me free from sin. That's how it been, yeah, that's how it. If you wanna talk to God, then you say some. If you feeling like a fraud, then you say some. I know I've been living wrong, I need to pray some. Gotta pray some, yeah, I gotta pray some. But the work right here ain't done yet. Gotta head out to war, get the sword wet. Now I'm talking flesh and blood, but it's spirit-led. You gotta be wary, enemies growling. I'm staying sober, no lying devour me. Look at my wrists, the word that empowers me. Devil can't win, in. Wow, the devil can't win. God got all the power, and he calling me friend. Just heating me up, I've been down for days. Now I just sing his praise. We gon' say some, now let's pray some. Hey, step into me, I'ma point you straight to him. I'm a chosen one, I'll show you how I live. Been through testing, God, he blessed me free from sin. That's how it been, yeah, that's how it. If you wanna talk to God, then you say some. If you feeling like a fraud, then you say some. I know I've been living wrong, I need to pray some. Gotta pray some, yeah, I gotta pray some.
Hey son, I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I just want to let you know that I'm praying for you. And I just want to encourage you to find time for him in your business and to talk to the Lord. This prayer thing, when you sit down to make music, just ask for his creativity and to bless what you make. And like you've said, that it would be for His glory and not yours, and that it would impact the kingdom of God, not that it would encourage you.
Fire! Hey, step into me, I'ma point you straight to Him. I'm a chosen one, I'll show you how I live. Been through testing, God, He blessed me free from sin. That's how it been, yeah, that's how it. If you wanna talk to God, then just say some. If you feeling like a fraud, then just say some. I know I've been living wrong, I need to pray some. Gotta pray some, yeah, I gotta pray some.
It's going down. Here's another exclusive interview on K-100 Radio.
Yeah. Here you go. That was him right there. Praise something. All right, we're bringing him back on the screen, man. What's going on? I like it, man. And that production, man, your production is definitely A1 too. Like, yeah. And so I remember, early in the conversation, you said your mom bought you Logic Pro. So you kind of grew up in you grew up in the whole digital era and the digital space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you learned on the software. But let me ask you this. You're going to school. Wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit. So you said you're going to school in your major is in music, right? Like what specifically?
Yes, sir. Music production and music business.
Okay, so music production and music business, that's just, of course, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Make sure, you got the business right and all that. Things are changing real rapidly though, real fast. Since you've started music, what's been one technological advance that's like blown you away that you just jumped on like at first, like that even changed your workflow?
Man, I don't know. Because I get sometimes very set in just like what I do. Yeah, and I just kind of added on to. There's been less that's kind of replaced it. Obviously there's all this AI stuff coming out, and I feel like I'm kind of being an old head with it, where I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
He said he's being an old head, y'all. You heard?
Yeah, but to be honest, most of it is I add skills to my tool belt and just get faster with things.
Yeah.
Like learning my own sound synthesis.
Right.
And like how to do that instead of just like dragging and dropping and learning music theory and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So there's been nothing that's kind of completely changed my workflow, but it's been just a progression of getting faster and faster.
Absolutely. So, and here's a question that kind of goes, now that we getting ready to play the other song, but I want to keep it, the conversation really interesting and fresh.
Yeah.
So, nowadays, I'm pretty sure that you can see, from your perspective, as a young person, especially, a lot of people are moving away from religion and church. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know if I were a faith-based artist, one of the major things I will be concerned about is that, because that's basically,
for sure,
that's the whole mission, right? That's the whole point. How do you feel about that? And what do you think is the reason outside of just the world's going crazy?
It's kind of interesting because I'm seeing a lot of people leave, but then there's also so many coming. The statistics on Gen Z coming to Christ and church membership amongst Gen Z is up a lot. So I think naturally, like, some people are leaving the church and the world is getting more worldly, But there's also a lot of young people that are kind of sick of some of the, very worldly, very like kind of just crazy lifestyle that people are realizing is not fulfilling.
Yeah.
And they're looking for something that is, and they're actually coming to church and Christian music and for that outlet.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried, to be honest, and I just keep praying, and if one day it did, like, everyone left the church, I know the Lord's sovereign and He's over my life, so He'll lead me to where I need to be.
Absolutely, and that's the whole point of the word faith. I think people don't understand the whole notion of it sometimes. And
it's
even when people say, well, we've got all this, we've got science, like, and I grew up in church. You know what I'm saying? I grew up playing the drums in church, but that was my first musical journey. Like I played the drums in church, right?
Oh, awesome.
My mother was a musician. She was a pianist and a singer. That's why I got my music DNA in me from, right? So that's why I learned, even though the world corrupted me and changed me, and I went secular, and I still am. I don't have any problem saying that. Yeah. But I remember that, the way the music would make you feel, and that you would feel something inside that was a little bit different. and people, how do you when people say, man, there is no God? Like how do you talk to an atheist? Because there seems to be so many more of those now. Like even back then in my day when I was your age, there was a lot of people who may not be living a Christian life, but you didn't have as many people that were just like, there is no such thing as God.
Yeah,
there's a lot more atheism going on right now. How do you kind of sort of handle that when you come across people?
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, with grace, no one's out here trying to be like evil with it.
Right.
People think they're right, and other people think they're right.
Right.
So it's always with grace. You see him as human. Like, I'm never going to assume anything negative, and that's a big thing, because some people will enter, especially Christians, will enter conversations with atheists antagonistically, like, I'm against you.
Right.
When that's not what it needs to be. It needs to be like, hey, I care about you. Right. And I think this is the best way to live, and I think this is true, and I want you to know. But never a point of like, you're evil, you're terrible. Because as Christians, we believe we are all evil. We're all sinful. Right. And then just knowing my word, my apologetics, and I do my best to kind of know why I believe what I believe and why I believe it to be true. Right. So kind of both, and that's why it's important to be educated as a Christian. And I think a lot of people that are atheists, I don't think some of them have a thing, like they had a genuine bad experience with Christianity. Right. Some of them genuinely just didn't end up believing it. Right. And both need to be handled with complete understanding and grace. Yeah. Because that's how I believe Jesus would handle it.
Exactly. All right. I love that answer. And before we get ready to get into the next song in a second, calling out, sure. I'll just have it loaded up here when I'm ready to go. But I got one other question I'd like to ask you. Because I think the conversation is pretty good. It's a really good interview. I don't know, I know when people come to my show, like, what do they think I'm going to ask them? But I like to dig deep. You know what I'm saying? And then get into the music. The genre, hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I first got into it, and back in the day, how much pushback the church gave Christian hip hop, like gospel hip hop. They were like, absolutely not. Like, it's bad enough we've got deep on it. BB and CC whining, almost sounding like R&B. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you my age right now, right? You know what I'm saying? And, especially with the black side of church, the black Christianity, they was like, even when they came out and they were doing songs with Teddy Riley, oh my God, it was the end of the world, right? But of course, we've come a long way since then. We've got Lecrae, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got clear examples of really high level music, but with the same message. You know what I mean? But have you gotten any pushback from anyone just because you chose to do hip hop? Just because of the genre of music you chose?
I think I'm blessed that I haven't, but I get the occasional things online where people will leave a stupid comment like, this is demonic. And then I'll reply, I would love to hear why. And I never usually get a response. So I've been blessed that I haven't. Yeah. But I see people like Lecrae, there's Miles Minnick on the West Coast, people protesting outside their shows with signs saying like, this is evil and demonic. Fuses the heck out of me. But yeah, I haven't, except for an occasional comment.
Okay, yeah. Well, the bigger you get, if you already getting those trolls, attention. Yeah, you're getting those trolls already, then it's gonna ramp up a little bit. All right. All right, so let's talk about calling out, man. Now give me the rundown for this song, man, so we can get into it. 30 minutes goes really quick when you're having a good conversation, doesn't it? Yeah.
So, this song is with my buddy Kins. He's a rapper out of Memphis, Christian rapper. Okay. Really, really talented. But I kind of just wanted to make a song that was kind of you can turn up to. It's just really fun. It's kind of just about like, I'm calling out to the Lord. And when I call out to him, I'm feeling unstoppable. He empowers me through my day to fight through the things that come against me. So yeah, it's a really simple song, really fun. I really kind of lean into the EDM blend at a certain section here that's kind of fun, but I love it production wise too. Okay. Super fun.
Again, you on the track, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Give it to me, man. Give me that drop and I'm gonna hit play. Go.
All right, this is IDEGO. You're listening to Calling Out on K-100 Radio.
Let's get to it, fam.
You are tuned to K-100 Radio, Hip Hop and R&B. Here's another exclusive interview on K-100 Radio. You are tuned to K-100 Radio, Hip Hop and R&B.
We're getting ready to wrap this direct line interview up with my guy IDEGO, man. Really great music. All right, that one. Yeah, you definitely brought the EDM out on that one. That was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was high energy. I mean, you know, when you're doing the shows and you're like, you know, I mean, do you do, as far as your live performances, do you perform a lot? You have a lot of shows?
So I actually haven't yet.
No, you haven't? Okay.
I haven't had the opportunity. I dream of it, and I'm looking to do some hopefully in the future.
Okay.
But right now, I haven't done any live shows.
Well, so you just really, you really getting started in the game for real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting part of it. I don't know, you know, like the whole side of like booking on that in that particular genre and everything, you know, like the venues and how you get it. It's a little bit kind of not foreign to me, but it's like nothing that I normally dwell in. Yeah. You know what I mean,
it's pretty similar. It's a little nuanced, especially when it comes to like a lot of these venues with alcohol consumption.
Right.
Is a part of like. There's obviously a lot less with a Christian act.
Right.
So you kind of have to guarantee a little more in that way.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, listen, I wish you wish you much success. So these songs are already out on DSPs and everything right now, right?
So Pray Some is
okay,
and then I have one other song that is Calling Out is coming out on May 1st.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
a little preview.
All right, yeah.
This is exclusive.
Right. Hey, okay, we'll take it. All right. Before we get ready to wrap things up, man, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, your website, if they want to get with you and follow the trend.
For sure. You can find me on all streaming platforms, IDEGO, IDEGO. And then on pretty much all social media, it's at the IDEGO, the IDEGO. Instagram's where I post the most and am most active. Shoot me a DM. Would love to talk about my music and share with you guys. So, yeah.
All right. K-100 Radio, IDEGO's in the building, man. All right. So listen, I'm going to let you go, man, but I appreciate that. I think we had a great conversation. And of course, if you missed any part of this conversation, you will be able to catch it on the K-100 Radio YouTube channel and also our Spotify podcast and also on Apple Podcasts, podcast for Apple and iHeart podcast as well. And we're on a lot of other stuff. Just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to find it. All right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll have everything chopped up and edited and up in a day or so. You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody that was watching live. I did see a couple of people watching on the Facebook live stream over there. So, shout out to those people who will maybe watch this live and were giving a couple of comments. I thank you guys for supporting these independent artists over here. And again, what we want to do here with these direct line interviews is just kind of connect, whoever's listening, whoever may catch the podcast version, live, whatever, connect with the artists if you want to support them. It ain't always about money, man. A share and a like and a subscription is free. Like subscribing to the page is free on YouTube. Like it's free to like and share. It doesn't cost you a dime, all right, to support an independent artist. You know what I mean? Any words, World, before we wrap this up, or anything you want to tell them?
God is good. God is great. God is real.
All right. That's all.
That's what I stand for.
That's what's up, man. IDEGO's in the building. K-100 Radio. Remember, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys later.
K100 Radio.